and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all having a wonderful, I think this is going up on a Sunday. Today is a Q&A video. I haven't done a Q&A in a really long time. I feel like the last time I did anything sort of Q&A like was when I reached 12,000 subscribers and I did a live show and there was a few questions and stuff. And I'm doing a bit of filming going forward because we're away soon, so I thought I'd get some videos filmed, and I thought I'll do a Q&A. So I've just asked the lovely people on Instagram to come at me with some questions, and it's only been an hour and I've got about 15 questions here, so I'm going to answer those, and then at the end of filming this I'll have a look and see if any more questions have come in. But yeah, a real range of different questions, from like bookish stuff to stuff about Minnie to stuff about fashion and all sorts. So let's kick off. So 2 separate questions came in about Minnie, but I'm going to answer them in one big bump. So the first one is, how old is Minnie and when did we get her? And how did we get her, sorry. And the other one is, do you think you'd ever get another cat? So we don't exactly know how old Minnie is. We got Minnie from the Cat Protection League, which is a charity in the UK which rehome cats that have come in either, not always for hugely dramatic reasons like animal abuse or anything like that. Sometimes in the instance of Minnie, it was an older lady who had gone into a care home and couldn't have a cat in the care home, so Minnie went to the Cat Protection League. So the history we know of Minnie, and it is sketchy because the older woman couldn't quite remember. This is what the information we got from the Cat Protection League. She couldn't quite remember how old she was, but Minnie has actually come from Russia. So Minnie's owner had Minnie in Russia for 5 years, and then brought her over here and had her for 3 years in the UK, and then went into care, and Minnie was put into Cat Protection League in February one year, I think must have been about 5 years ago, and we got her in the April. So she'd only been in the Cat Protection League for 2 months, which is quite a short amount of time really, particularly for a black cat. She's grey now because she's an old lady, but she was a black cat. And we were talking about this yesterday because one of the women I work with used to volunteer at the Cat Protection League, and apparently something like 8 out of the 10 cats that come into the Cat Protection League are black cats, and people just tend to not want black cats as much as other ones, which is super sad. So when we got Minnie, we were given the information that she would be best suited to an older couple, so David and I, old before our time, and she didn't want to be around children or other pets, because she'd never been around children or other pets, and she'd never been outside, which worked really well for us because at the time we were living on a super busy road, and we didn't want to let a cat out anyway on that road because it would just be not sensible. So since we've moved around with Minnie, we have taken her out on a lead, like on 1 or 2 occasions, but we've never felt the need to let her out. She's not like at the windows meowing wanting to get out. She's quite a sedentary cat. She sort of like mooches from room to room and just sort of slumps and sleeps, and yeah, so we've never felt awful about not letting her out, particularly when we lived in that really busy road. So yes, that's how we got her. So we believe her to be 13, but we can't be certain because they didn't know for definite. So we believe her to be 13. So yeah, she's the love of our life. She's just sleeping on the windowsill. Otherwise, I'd have her here, but having her here would mean having my hand off because she wouldn't be happy about being disturbed. So books that the next question was books that I hate that everyone loves. So there's one book that I always mention that I hate, and whenever I mention it, I always get a nasty message from someone saying that my taste counts for nothing, basically. But the book that I hate that everyone loves is the Elena Ferrante series. Actually, I say the Elena Ferrante series. I only ever read the first one, which is My Brilliant Friend, which is a book translated from Italian about a woman and her friendship, and sort of like growing up in Italy in the 50s and 60s, I believe. And I just hated it. I just really I didn't get on with the plot or with the characters, and just, yeah, really did not like it. But I know that is a super unpopular opinion. I know there is thousands and thousands of people out there that love it. It's just recently, I think it's being made into a TV series by like ABC or something, but that is not something I will be watching. But yeah, that is one of the books that I hate that everybody else loves. Actually, leave in the comments what book you hate that everyone else loves, because I'm always interested in this. But yeah, I just did not get on with it. But I'm aware that like that's fine, but some people do not feel like that. I just feel like maybe I'd feel the same if someone was saying to me like, oh, I hate Harry Potter, and not giving valid reasons, because I mean, not everyone's going to get on with Harry Potter. It's about a wizard boy, and you have to sort of suspend disbelief for quite a lot to do that. So I can understand why people wouldn't like Harry Potter, but yeah, on the few occasions I have mentioned not enjoying My Brilliant Friend, I've been berated with hatred, so sorry, but I just don't get on with it. The next question was, how are you getting on with the reusable cleaning products, and what are your favourites? Now, I'm aware I've mentioned these reusable cleaning products quite a lot in the last few videos. I mentioned it in my At The Moment video and my favourites video, but I'll just briefly talk about it here. So I recently joined up to a company called Splosh, and they send you plastic bottles with cleaning products and washing products in, and then from then on it's zero waste, because you get sent refills that you put into the bottles that they've already sent you. Some are just straight into the bottle, some sort of need diluting with water, yeah, I'm really loving it. I think it's amazing. Then you send back the refills to Splosh and they recycle them for you, and I've got a whole host of their products at the moment, from laundry detergents to washing up liquids to shower gel, but my favourite product that I've had is this hand wash, which is mint and green tea, and it's bloody the best hand wash I've ever had in my life. I really love it. It's so fresh. I only wish they did a shower gel of this. Do you know what? Why can't you use hand washes as shower gels? Does anyone know the answer to that? Because I will use this hand wash as a shower gel if I have to, because it's just so lovely. But yeah, if I show you the bottle, so it will show you here, that is a line there, and you fill that up with water, and then in these big sachets you get, then I would fill the rest up with concentrate and mix it all up, and then that would be there. So the sachet that I get has got 6 lots of hand wash in there. So really enjoying this. I think the products are amazing, and think that they are all really nice smelling, and also that it's great that you're saving plastic, because I've saved 24 bottles worth of plastic already, and I only started at the beginning of June, so amazing. So yeah, love it. If this isn't a sponsored link or an affiliate link or anything, but I have got a referral code, and if you want to also do this, I talk about this much more in my favourites videos and my At The Moment video. I'll link them both down below. But if you want to do that, I will link the code down below. It gets you 15% off and credits £3 to my account. So yeah, I just think they're really great. So there we go, that's how I'm getting on with it. Next question is, why don't you go on holidays abroad? So David and I mean, the main reason I probably think that I don't go on holidays abroad is that David and I are not fans of hot weather. We really do not thrive in the hot weather. We don't enjoy the hot weather. I am a terrible version of myself when it is hot weather. I just want to sulk and not really talk to anyone and not really wear many clothes and just have a horrible time. And I'm a really miserable person when it is hot weather. So that is number one reason, because a lot of places you would go on holiday would potentially be sort of hot weather places. However, Dave and I are very content with home away from home holidays. That's our favourite holidays. That's why we love Centre Park so much. That's why we love Airbnb, because going to somewhere and sort of like setting up home there for a week and having a base that you can go back to and cook dinner there every night and relax and read and all sorts of things like that. That is our idea of like perfect holidays. And there's so many places that you can do that in the UK, and so many parts of the UK that Dave and I both haven't seen, that we are more than happy to do that. Also, it saves on sort of like travelling by airplane, which obviously, having just mentioned reusable plastic and things like that, I am always thinking about the environment. So I wouldn't like force ourselves abroad just to have a holiday when there's so many places that I still want to see here and can enjoy my favourite sense of a holiday, which is a home away from home on holiday. That being said, there are places abroad that I would like to visit. I'd like to go to Reykjavik, I'd like to go to Iceland, full stop actually. There's parts of America that I'd want to go to, particularly for the food, and almost like for David to go there as well. Like he'd love to visit Texas and New Orleans and things like that for the food. And I'd like to go to Scandinavia at some point. So yeah, there are places I'd like to visit, but we don't holiday abroad because we're more than happy to holiday here. But that's not to say that it will never happen. I can see it happening. So that's the answer to that question. Somebody says, what is your best autumnal reads? And another question said, any autumn book recommendations which are a bit gothic? So one of my favourite authors to read in autumn, and luckily autumn is just around the corner, is Sarah Waters. Sarah Wartum. Does that work? No. So Sarah Waters is the author of Tipping the Velvet, which is one of my favourite books ever. She's also written another one of my favourite books ever, The Paying Guests, and also The Night Watch and Little Stranger. Just her writing, not even necessarily that her books are set in autumn, but they're just like super cozy, interesting, like gothic-y reads, particularly The Little Stranger. If you're looking for a gothic read this autumn, I Cannot Push Upon You, The Little Stranger anymore. I just really love the sort of like, they're always sort of like historical fiction, which always makes me feel quite cozy and autumnal anyway. But yeah, I think she's amazing. And this year I'm going to be rereading The Night Watch, but listening to it on audiobook, because I've heard that the audiobook is absolutely fantastic. And I'm also going to reread Tipping the Velvet, because I've only read it about 2 or 3 years ago with a library edition. And since then I bought this beautiful, it was second hand, it was £8. I've bought this beautiful book, so I'm going to be rereading that. But also I used to reread every single year, and if it's gothic fiction you're looking for, then you can't really go any further, you can't really get any closer to that than Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And we're actually, I haven't read it for a few years, because the last time I read it I was a bit like, come on guys, pull yourselves together, because the characters in here are bloody awful. But we are reading it for my book club this year, so this will be a revisit after a few years. So yeah, gothic-y, and definitely Sarah Waters, would definitely recommend both of those. It says here, if you could choose any book which you could read again for the first time, what would it be? Now my go-to for this question was Harry Potter, and quite often any sort of like questions that are book related, my answer, like favourite book or book you could like, questions related to books, my answer is often Harry Potter. But I've also been thinking about this, and I'm listening to the audiobook of his Dark Materials at the moment. I've listened to The Belle Sauvage, and now I'm listening to the 3 Dark Materials books in time for, well, firstly the TV series coming out, but also for the second book in the Book of Dust trilogy, which is coming out in October. I read those initially when I was not a child, but I was in my first year of university, so I was 19 when I read them, which is like over 20 years, over 10 years ago now, guys. And I feel like back then my reading was very much at face value, and I read it as a children's book. And now on revisiting it, there's so many different layers to that book in terms of like interference from the church and feminism themes and things like that. And I feel like, although I don't regret reading it when I was that age, because I loved it, I would have, first of all, loved to have read it as a child, which is a sort of bend on this question, but I would have loved to have read it as a child. And also I would love to reread it now for the first time, sort of seeing how I would identify those pointers and stuff. So yeah, I would probably pick his Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. But again, I'm interested in your answers to this as well, so do let me know. What's the next one? Dream night in situation. I'm gonna get into this. So my dream night in situation is quite often, honestly, cozy reading night. So to have 3 hours where the telly's not on, the radio's not on, David and I have got some real nice picky snacks. I love a picky snack, just quietly sitting, either a real life fire. If I'm going for drink, because David and I don't have a wood burning stove, but if we're going for a dream night in, I'd be somewhere with a wood burning stove, which would be amazing. And then just picky bits, nice like untold amounts of lovely cups of tea, and David reading as well. It makes me so happy to see David reading. One of my favourite things is seeing David reading. So David's reading as well. We're both under blankets. We've got a nice thick pair of socks on and some comfy pyjamas, not a bra on me at all, and just having a lovely time like that. My dream dream night in situation is my cozy reading nights, which is bloody good, because it means I get about 4 or 5 of them a year without fail. So yes, very exciting. If also, just as a check-in, it is cozy reading night coming up soon, isn't it? Cozy reading night summer. I'm just got to check the date for it, because I can't remember off the top of my head. It is the 17th of August, which is a Saturday. So cozy reading night is coming up for that. If you want to check out my announcement video down below, then please do that. The next question was a series from your childhood, not Harry Potter, well done for putting that in there, that you read and loved. And the first thing I thought about was Babysitters Club. So Babysitters Club is an American long series. I think there ended up being like hundreds of these books about a group of girls living in Connecticut, and they set up a babysitting service for their local, like around like where they live, their local residential area. And each sort of book deals with like a different like topic. So it might be that one of them is adopted, or one of them's from a really big family, and one of them's an only child. One of the babysitters had diabetes, so sort of like it would address different situations. And I just really used to love reading them. I think I owned 2 by myself, and then I used to get them out from the library. And what I really liked is when they'd have like a special. So some of the special ones would be like slightly longer, and they'd normally be like they were trying to like solve a crime or something like that. And I just used to love them so much. And yeah, I really loved them. I wonder what it would be like to revisit. I know there's a graphic novel of the Babysitters Club out now, so maybe I should give that a go. And another question is, if reading wasn't your passion, what do you think it would be? And I think now, because when I was younger, I was always sort of like told myself, you're not very arty, and I wasn't great at drawing or art or anything. I used to enjoy it, but I was told like I wasn't like the best in my class, which sort of like you didn't, not that even that you weren't the best in your class, but I was never encouraged to be creative when I was younger. And nowadays I love it. I love things like making pom-poms and cross stitch and colouring in and drawing and things like that. So I feel like if I could have my time again, I would probably encourage myself to be more creative, because I feel like creativity has got so many different layers to it. Like, I'm being creative now by making this video for you guys, and I feel like crafts and things like that is definitely something that I would revisit if reading wasn't my passion. I should make more time for it now, actually, because I can completely pop an audiobook on and then just do some cross stitch or something like that. Maybe I should make a little hour a weekend for that, because I've got an hour a weekend to lend to that. What do I think of the Archers at the moment? So I'm actually 3 weeks behind on the Archers. What is happening in the Archers at the moment is that Emma and Ed have just got rid of Peppa Pig, who is a lamb that Poppy loves, and Ed has also sort of put an end to if you don't know any of this, the Archers is a Radio 4 soap that's been going like radio show soap that's been going on for, I think it's like it's either just over 100 years or almost 100 years. It's been going on for a really, really long time. I think they might, no, maybe, I mean, let's just find out and then we won't have to do it. I think I was a bit optimistic by saying 75 years. It's been on since 1951, so it's been on almost 70 years, which is, I feel like I remember there being a 70th anniversary recently, but yeah. So yeah, it's a radio soap, and it's set in a fictional county of, oh God, I've forgotten what the bloody fictional county's called. Borchester, didn't even see that, I just saw it on there, and they're sort of like farming communities and things like that. But yeah, I'm about 3 weeks behind, but I love listening to it. I've listened to it for about 2 or 3 years now. Simon and Chris got me into it, and even now, after listening to it for like 2 or 3 years, there are still parts where someone will come back from somewhere and I won't know who this person is, and everyone knows who it is. So it takes a lot of getting into it, and like you have to just sort of immerse yourself into it. But yeah, I really, really love it. I really love it. But I can't really truly answer what do you think of the Archers at the moment, because I'm 3 weeks behind. So I'm quite into it at the moment. I was very saddened to find out Jim recently, one of the characters in it, has just revealed that he was sexually assaulted as a child. He's an old gentleman by his piano teacher. And that's been really sad, like, and hearing like his son and his friends deal with the fact that that's come out, and like they want to help him but they don't know how to help him, and he wants help but he doesn't know how to get help and things like that. So very much enjoy the Archers. I think it's a really great programme and I love it very much. Next question, 3 favourite items in my wardrobe, which I've got here. So this changes on seasonally, but at the moment I can only talk about the 3 favourite items in my wardrobe that I've been wearing loads, that I feel great when I'm wearing, and just that I love to look at. The first one is this swimming costume by Potocco, which is a company that makes swimwear made out of recycled water bottles, and it's called the Vegosaurus, and it's got banana leaves, and on top of those banana leaves it's got triceratops, and I just love it. I really, really love the fact it's got like really supportive straps that like don't make my boobs hang down. I really like the scooped back at the end. It's got quite low legs, so it's not like my ass isn't falling out or my fanny's not about to fall out, and I just feel great in it. I really, really love it. The pattern and it just makes me feel so happy, and I am forever looking on that Potocco website because I don't need another swimming costume, and this year I've been really trying to cut back on my clothes because I don't go swimming enough to warrant 2 swimming costumes, but my God, they've got some absolutely beautiful prints on there. My most recent favourite one is a navy one which has got all sort of like flowers on it, but like sprigs of flowers, and it just looks fantastic. My cousin Laura has the she was the one that got me into this, the company, and she's got a pink one with banana leaves on it, and it just looks amazing. But they've got ones with fruit on, they've got leopard print ones. They're amazing. I think they're amazing and love them. The next one is also, I feel like these are all items that I mentioned in my fast fashion video, but these really goes to show how much I've been loving these items, and it is these yellow sea salter sandals, which I've basically worn every single day since I bought them. They are sadly made out of leather, which I didn't realise when I bought them because I'm a vegetarian and I would never knowingly buy a leather product. I don't even think I'd looked into checking it, but I hadn't realised until I'd been wearing them for a while. But I've got to say, they are as box fresh, like the actual patent leather is as box fresh as the day I put them on. And I just feel like they're going to last me forever. They're so comfy, they've never hurt me at all. I wear them, because they're bright yellow and they're like a block colour, they just go with everything, and I love them. They were £65, but I had a 10% off like first buy-in code. So they were just under £60, but the amount I've worn from them so far, and they're just so strongly made, I just think they're fantastic. And then also with that colour is a dress. This dress, yellow, just makes me so happy. This was originally from Topshop, and I actually tried this dress on for my dress sizes video that I made last year. Yes, last year. And I loved it at the time. But this is bright yellow wrap dress with a lovely little ruffle on it. Yellow just makes me so happy, and I'm actually thinking of now wearing that tonight. I'm going to a quiz tonight, and I think I might wear that tonight. And then the last question I've got before I look and see if there's been any other questions are favourite TV programmes David and I like watching together. So I mean, we'll watch any old TV together, but there are things that we do enjoy to watching together. Downton Abbey, we really like watching Downton Abbey together, and because we've seen it before, we're re-watching the series at the moment because the film comes out in September, and we never saw the 5th or the 6th season, so we've got quite a lot to watch. So I quite enjoy watching that, and we both really enjoy the characters in that, and now knowing what's going to happen, we quite like speculating about, oh, did that happen and did this happen and blah blah blah. We loved watching The Crown together for a similar way. We were both so... I'd watched The Crown before and David had not, and we were both so taken by how much British history we did not know, and very interestingly was sort of like Googling stuff as the episodes went by. We really enjoyed watching that. But yeah, we're sort of into like quieter, like TV aimed at an older audience, I would say. It's like mine and David's favourite thing to watch. So yeah, there's recently, we quite like Gone Fishing, Taskmaster. We always watch Taskmaster together as well. Yeah, Gone Fishing, Taskmaster. Yeah, we just quite enjoy sitting and watching telly. Right, let's see if there's been any more questions before I wrap this up. Okay, there is, what university did you go to and what did you study? So I went to the University of Kent in Canterbury. I studied sociology and social policy. Let me tell you a little story of how I ended up there, because I had a place at Roehampton University to study English literature, but my boyfriend at the time was going to Kent University, and I can't remember the details of it. I can't remember whether I was asked to go there or whether I just felt obliged to go there, but I ended up not going to Roehampton and going to Kent University, and I wasn't able to do English there because my grades weren't good enough to do English there, so I had to do what my grades were good enough, and that was sociology and social policy. So had I studied English, would things be different? Who knows? Like, would I have, I don't know what I would have ended up doing. But I don't have any regrets about going to Kent, because Canterbury is one of my favourite. I regret, like, the girl of that age sort of just going along to the university because that's where her boyfriend was going. Like, I regret that deeply. But I don't regret going to Kent because I love Canterbury. I love living there. I met one of my best friends there. I lived with Dolores for a very long time, and we just, yeah, I loved my 3 years Canterbury life there. But yeah, it wasn't my first choice to go there. But yeah, interesting. So that's what happened. Sadly, I think that happens to quite a lot of people. Next book, what is the best book you've read this year? What is the best book I've read this year? Let me just have a look at my favourite shelf. I think my favourite book that I've read this year has been... today, my favourite book that I've read this year has been The Heart's Invisible Furies, which is a book by John Boyne about a chap called Cyril Avery and his whole life from when his mother finds out she's pregnant with him up to his point of his death. And it's a real, there's many highs and many lows, and I loved it, and I sobbed and laughed and everything. So I feel like that is probably my favourite book of the year, but you could ask me on another day and I might say another thing. Because also I've just read Disobedience by Naomi Alderman, which I really loved, and I feel like that's a contender as well. But that wasn't the question. The question was, what is your favourite book of the year? Have I ever been pumpkin picking? Yes, David and I went pumpkin picking last year in September, I believe. It might even have been a bit later. No, September or October? End of September, beginning of October, we went pumpkin picking, and then we decorated pumpkins. We actually got a big one and a small one. So I had a big white one and a small white one, and I did like cut out a cat's face on the big one and then drew a cat's face on the little one with a marker. And David did Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. I will definitely want to do it again this year, but sadly the place where we went last year is somewhere that I drive past every day to go to work, and it was the first time they'd opened last year, and it looked amazing, and I felt like it had been a real success. Like every time I drove past there was always thousands of people there, hundreds of people there, but it doesn't look as though they've been growing any pumpkins this year, so I don't think it's happening, which is really sad because I loved going there. So we'll have to find somewhere else to go because I really enjoyed it, and it was just a very lovely autumnal thing to do, and loads of photo opportunities. Let's have a look. What else have we got? What books am I most looking forward to reading in the colder months? I will refer to the Sarah Waters ones. Let's have a look. Would I consider making cooking videos as my dishes always look amazing? My kitchen isn't really set up for cooking videos, sadly, because I would love to make cooking videos, but because I would be filming with my back to the camera the whole time, I just don't feel like it's great to do it. If there's another way I can do it, like maybe I could do some sort of like prep on this table in here, because quite often I get asked if I've made cooking videos, and I would really love doing it because I really love cooking, and I feel like I'm getting better and better at sort of like making things up in my head now rather than following a recipe book. So there's a way around it, then yeah, I would consider it, but I haven't thought of a way around it yet. As somebody else says, oh, this will be the last one because we're getting quite far into it. We're getting on, aren't we? Do you have any decorative plans for the flat? You know we love the green hallway. So yes, we decorated this is the first bit of decoration we did, and we decorated the hallway green, which we love doing. My dad was very helpful in that. He did all the cutting in, and David and I did a bit of rollering. And David was always very anti-decorating because he just doesn't enjoy things like that, but actually he didn't mind it. So what we think we're going to do, we think we're going to do another room next year. We haven't decided what. We also need to check with the people that own the flat because we are in a rented property. They were completely fine with us decorating the hallway, and we think maybe we're going to go for the smaller bedroom because I feel like that will be easier to do, in terms of like there's not a lot of furniture and stuff in there, or if there is, there's stuff we can cover up, and it's quite a square room, so we could either just paint and like, yeah, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do. I also want a bright pink bathroom at some point in my life, but the tiles we have here are sort of like a mosaic blue tile situation, and I don't feel like that will go very well with a pink bathroom, so I need to think of a way around that. So yeah, I've got a few decorating ideas, but nothing that will be going in place this year at all, because we've done the hallway this year and we're very happy with the hallway. So anyway, my phone's about to run out of battery, my camera's about to run out of battery. I've really enjoyed doing this Q&A. I hope you all have. It's been nice just to have a little chat. Do answer the questions I've answered below, and I will see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye.